Obviously coming off of a good week, getting 2 wins last week, both here at home. Last 2 games of a 4-game homestand, and really played really well all 4 games. Lost the two earlier games to Middle Tennessee and UAB on close losses there, but obviously the top 2 teams in the league. So I think it gave us a lot of confidence coming into this week. Marshall was hot coming in. They showed how good they are by going and beating ODU after we knocked them off here. So that was a great win for us, and came back and really probably had our most convincing win of the year against Western. So, we're continuing to grow, continuing to get better. It's nice to see, we'd been knocking on the door for a little while, getting close, but it was nice to finally knock that door down and get a couple wins. So, well, Florida International, our game on Thursday, they're actually 5-2 in the league and are playing really well from a talent standpoint. They're probably as talented as anybody in our league. They have really good big man in Diaz and another big in Draper, and their wing player is one of the better players in the league as well. So, they really kind of have a three-headed monster there, and we're going to have to be able to defend. But, we're scoring the ball pretty well right now. If we can put some heat on them offensively, and stay in the game, give ourselves a chance there. And then Florida Atlantic, they're a little bit like us, trying to find their way. In the league, although they've won a couple as well in the league, and they're playing much better basketball. So, I look at it like all of them. If we play well, we'll have a chance to be in those games and win them. If we don't play well, there's a really good chance we can lose them. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I think we're on schedule. I think we hope to be in this position. As we moved along. Like I said, you're disappointed when you play games as close as we did last week and come up short, but I think those being the 2 better teams in our league right now, to have played them so well, I think it continued to feed our confidence with our young players, and I think just the development of our young players has continued to be on schedule. So, winning games always helps the process, and so winning a couple, especially 2 in a row now, has given us a little bit of momentum. You can tell with the guys and their gait, walking around, they feel a little bit better about themselves, and hopefully we can continue growing as a team. Well, I think health is a little bit of a factor in that. Obviously, getting Van Hook back on the court is a tremendous help to us. He's a guy that brings a lot of different things to the table for us, and so and it also gives us some help on the front court, which we're kind of thin right now. But Bennis played a much better game on Saturday. I'm hoping to continue to be able to get him more minutes, ultimately to give Joe more time so he doesn't have to log so many. But, I've been pleased with our rotation, even though it's smaller. Our guys are out on the floor. They're getting out there long enough to get comfortable, and, you can see their confidence growing. I guess it's hard for me to grade myself, but I feel like I'm growing as well. It's all new to me. It's the first time, it's first time being a head coach, obviously, but first time to go through the conference. So every team we play is a new experience. You learn different styles. The thing I'm learning is there's so many different styles on the teams in this league from one night to the next, and making adjustments and being prepared, and all that's it's just a learning process. And so I feel like I'm learning every day as well as my players, and I feel like we're headed in the right direction, and hopefully we can keep moving that way. No question. I think, as we said from the beginning of this process, 3-4 months ago, none of these guys even knew each other. They'd never played together before. Building chemistry and togetherness takes time. It just doesn't happen overnight. I don't care what your talent level is. We had a whole brand new team of players, a new system, new coaching staff, and that takes time. And, unfortunately, our schedule was brutal early, and it I wouldn't say slowed the process, but made it more difficult, surely. And now we, after the break where we had time to regroup and practice, we've played much better basketball. Our guys are on the court playing a lot of minutes together, so they're starting to feel more comfortable with each other, where guys are going to be on the floor, what each guy's strengths are. All that stuff's growing on a daily basis, which allows you to play better. Well, I think John's, without a doubt, been our guy that's grown the most. As I said early in the year, I put the ball in his hands as a freshman, and to run our team, it's the toughest position to navigate for a young player. you know, when to shoot, when to pass, doing what the coach wants you to do, making sure you're organized out on the floor. And he's just, you know, grown by leaps and bounds, and he's a totally different player right now. He's playing with a lot of confidence. I think the biggest thing I worried about early on was turnovers with a young team, and yet John does a terrific job of protecting the basketball, and you know, he rarely makes a bad decision out there, which, you know, for a coach, you know, to have the ball in a freshman's hand and have that confidence is a great thing. So I couldn't be more pleased with John and his progress up to this point. It's unbelievable. I mean, to be honest, I don't know where we would be right now without Joe. He's just been a rock for us from day one. I mean, understanding coming into a situation with a lot of young players, I think he's really taken that on, kind of being the father figure of the group, so to speak, to take those guys under his wing and to say, hey, you know, don't worry about it. If you make a mistake, I'm going to protect you behind you. I'm going to get the rebounds and do all the little things, all the dirty work. And, you know, I mean, the numbers he's put up have just been phenomenal. I mean, you know, several times 18, 19, 20 rebounds a game. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just, I don't care where you play, what school, what level you play. That's hard to do, and he's been amazing. Well, I think there's no question that winning a Freshman of the Week award has got to build your confidence. You know, one, it shows that the hard work's paying off and the things that you're doing. But I think more than anything else, and the thing I like about my guys the most is they're about team, and you know, those guys know that the only reason they're getting those awards is because we're playing better and doing things as a team. And so, you know, that's the thing that I appreciate about the most. But, you know, it's great for our program. It's great for those guys individually to get recognized that way. Like I said, it's just another thing that kind of puts it out there that we're headed on the way up and improving and getting better, and they're starting to reap the rewards for that. I don't think my goal has changed. You know, our goal simply has been let's get better every day and kind of see where that takes us. You know, I think this year it was really, you know, obviously a difficult situation that we all came into with the way things kind of unfolded when we got here. And so, you know, it's worked well for us. We've had that mindset, and, you know, if we keep playing well and keep improving, and you never know what could happen. You know, ultimately for everybody in our conference, for the most part, it's going to come down to, you know, 4 or 5 days in April, you know, when the tournament comes around. So just like every other team in our league, we're working towards playing our best basketball, you know, toward the end of the season and kind of see what happens.